And that is how I met the Sasquatch. The three of them, Grandpa, Marcus, and Dr. Winters, were all walking through the woods as the night took its slow time around them. The creatures had stopped attacking them once Dr. Winters had joined them. They seemed less eager to approach the good doctor, and it was pretty clear that they knew who and what she was. And I thought I had some interesting stories. You, sir, seem to have quite a few amazing tales. Well, I'm afraid to say that mine are just for retelling, not for consumption. Dr. Winters shook her head. I don't know why you have so much distrust for me. I've only ever really helped the citizens of Cashmere. Grandpa chewed that over for a moment. It is possible that I had misjudged you. I'm a simple country fella. Most of my business comes from getting rid of spirits that people don't want. I never stopped to consider there might be a spirit that somebody wants to keep around. You seem like a nice enough sort, but you're certainly one in a million if that's the case. I suppose if you knew my brothers, then you would know how true a statement that was. Most of them aren't worth the trouble to kill. They certainly do not have the best interests of others in mind, though. Dr. Winters wondered if that was still true. She'd been working on the assumption that both her brothers were self-centered egotists, but seeing the way her younger brother interacted with those he liked was enough to make her rethink that statement. He had changed, so why couldn't her older brother change as well? She wasn't sure there was still time enough for him to turn over a new leaf, but time was something demons usually had quite a lot of. Are we getting close? Marcus asked. Why? Did you have other places to be? Dr. Winters asked good-naturedly. I suppose not, but I'm very curious to know where we're going. Grandpa says we're being pulled along by some sort of otherworldly force, and I suspect you might be as well. Have you got any clue of what force it might be? Dr. Winters shook her head, but she thought that wasn't entirely true. She did seem to remember something, a vague memory from a long, long time ago. Perhaps she had known this place once upon a time, but if it held any significance for her, then that time had long passed. There were bits and pieces of something, drips and drabs that refused to go away. But whatever the case, she couldn't really be sure of what it was. She'd just have to see this through to the end, and then perhaps there would be some sort of explanation. You only really feel it if you're spiritually inclined in such a way. It's like a tug, like something pulling a rope around your waist. Marcus blew out a long breath. Well, if that doesn't stroke my ego, I suppose. Don't be too hard on yourself, son. You've been living this life for a couple of years now, and I've been immersed in it since I was a teenager. I'm used to feeling for these sorts of things, and it's something that you've only recently started thinking about. Your time will come. Sooner than you think, I would warrant, Dr. Winters put in. Grandpa gave her a hard look that Marcus missed, and she gave him a questioning look as if she wasn't sure why he hadn't told his grandson yet. They kept walking, listening out for any new ambushers, but it appeared their pursuers had lost interest or were taking them exactly where they wanted to go. It kind of looks like we might be heading for an area I've always thought of as the Hole. And what is the Hole exactly? Dr. Winters was silent for a minute, and it didn't sound like she was going to respond before she finally answered him. I don't really know, but there's a pretty good chance that it might be a portal to hell. So, what brings you two out to the woods tonight anyway? The three of them made quite an odd group. The sheriff of Cashmere, riot gun slung around his neck, the new face in town who sold nothing except to those who knew how to buy it, and was dressed in a suit that probably cost as much as the sheriff's riot gun. And the legendary Warden of Stragview in a pinstripe suit that seemed plucked right out of time itself. They were figures that most people knew, even if they didn't know them well. And now, here they were, all of them in one place. That made quite the statement as they trumped through the woods, and Sheriff Guthrie was pretty sure they looked ridiculous to anyone who might happen upon them. "You keep asking that question, as if you expect a different answer," the warden said, with only a little bit of exasperation. "I could ask you the same question. What brings you out into the woods in the middle of the night, Sheriff?" "I told you, I'm hunting for a creature that's abducted a young woman, trying to find her and hopefully kill the creature before it attacks anyone else." Mr. Seraph and the warden gave each other knowing looks, and Sheriff Guthrie was a little put out by their seeming unwillingness to share information with him. "You two keep doing that. If you know something, then just say it. All the secrecy. How long have you been in town, Sheriff Guthrie?" "About 2 years, I suppose." "I've been here less than a year, and I've already figured out that this place runs on secrets. I would have thought you would know that by now. Secrets are the part and parcel of a town like this. They are its stock in trade, its chief export. And just because they annoy a man who knows only how to seek the truth is no reason to hate them. I get so tired of feeling like I'm on the back foot with this place. I just want some straight answers." "When are you gonna learn," came the voice of Sheriff Masterson as he clung to his shoulder, "that straight answers aren't something we do around here?" "Seems like you might need to learn that straight answers aren't something we do around here," the warden said, mimicking the old ghost word for word. "Your mentor has the right of it anyway. It's best to just accept that this place has its secrets and move on." It took Guthrie a moment to realize that the warden was talking about Sheriff Masterson. He had thought maybe he was referring to someone in town, but it hit him like a ton of bricks when he realized that the warden of Stragview could see the ghostly angel, or the ghostly devil, Guthrie supposed, that was sitting on his shoulder. "Wait, you can see him?" "Of course. Good to see you again, Sheriff Masterson. I'd say in the flesh, but there appears to be very little of it these days." The spirit of Sheriff Masterson gritted his rotten teeth and shook his head. "Just as big an asshole as always. You should pick your traveling companions a little better, boy." The knowledge that Guthrie wasn't the only one who could see him washed over him like a tidal wave. Guthrie had never truly believed that he was actually being haunted by the ghost of his former boss. Deep down, he'd almost believed it, but on top, he'd always thought he might be going crazy. Maybe the job was getting to him. Maybe he was losing his mind, but he'd never really believed in Sheriff Masterson or in his warnings. He supposed that was why he'd been so slow to act. In a way, it was almost a relief. In a way, it was a disappointment to realize that this spirit or delusion or whatever it was wasn't going to go away. You're not fooling, right? You can really see him." Mr. Seraph snorted. "Dear boy, as noisy as that spirit has been, was there ever any doubt in your mind that he was real? I would hazard a guess that you've been contending with him for quite some time. He must be real, unless..." The man in the suit looked very sad. "You thought you were losing your mind, didn't you? You poor man, never sure whether the voice of that old ghost was real or not." The warden only laughed. "That's nothing. You should see the ghosts that hang around the prison." "Ghosts you yourself created," Sheriff Masterson pointed out. "Guilty as charged. How does it feel to know that all that sniffing you did around my prison probably had some justification? Though, I notice you never stepped foot inside the gate." Sheriff Guthrie looked back at the old spook and saw him scrunch his face up in a look of extreme discontent. Probably because you know that even though you're cock of the walk in town, inside those gates, I'm in charge, and no one can say boo about it. He was talking to Sheriff Masterson, but Sheriff Guthrie could swear that he was looking straight at him. The message was received. Sheriff Guthrie might be hot shit in town, but Stagview was where the warden called the shots. "Why is he following you anyway?" Mr. Seraph asked. "Did you have unfinished business with him? He was probably responsible for his death." Sheriff Guthrie looked like someone had force-fed him a worm, but the warden only shrugged and chuckled. "Don't act so surprised. It's common knowledge that you were the sheriff's partner. The two of you went out on traffic stops and emergency calls together. The rumor mill believed that Sheriff Masterson was grooming you to be his replacement. Now the rumor mill thinks you probably bumped him off so you could have his position." "Why, I'd ever back a screw-up like you," Sheriff Masterson wheezed from behind Sheriff Guthrie. "So, did you do it?" the warden asked him, a cheeky smile spreading across his face. "You wouldn't be the first murderer I've had a conversation with, and I'm certainly not in a position to tattle on you. You run the town just fine, so there'd be nothing to gain by airing your dirty laundry." Sheriff Guthrie was silent for a second. The only sound was the crunching of the leaves and twigs underfoot, and when he spoke, it was almost too low to be picked up as it lay beneath the sounds of the night birds and crickets. "I didn't kill him, but I might as well have. I took something from him that was keeping him safe. I took it so I could get out alive." Guthrie, after a second or two of contemplation, took out the old talisman he had in his pocket and showed it to him. He saw 2 sets of eyebrows go up in disbelief. "That is very interesting," the warden said. "Now, where do you suppose Sheriff Masterson got a thing like that?" "I don't even know what it is," Sheriff Guthrie confided. "He said it would keep us safe from the creatures, but one of them got him anyway. It's a talisman that's supposed to ward off lesser hellspawn. I see other people in town carrying them, but they've kind of fallen out of fashion lately. I remember a time when everybody on the road had their own little sigil against what lived in the woods, though it's not likely to be as effective against larger demonic presences." Another of those looks passed between the two men, and Guthrie got the feeling the warden was speaking from experience. "So, the things that dwell in the forest are hellspawn, then?" "They're hellhounds. At least the ones you've likely seen are." Are there others?" Sheriff Guthrie asked the question as if he wasn't sure he really wanted an answer. "Many more, but aside from the hellhounds and the midges, I doubt you'll find much else out here. I assume that's where we're going, to the place where they all come forth." "To the place where we all come forth," Mr. Seraph said, but the warden elbowed him. He needn't have bothered. Sheriff Guthrie was enthralled by the sight of the glowing pit ahead of them. They were walking through the bare stretch between the woods and the pit that Sheriff Guthrie had glimpsed from a quarter of a mile away before he had taken on the mantle of sheriff. There were forms capering around it, but they hunkered back as the 3 men stepped closer to the edge of the glowing hole. They weren't alone either. On the other side, looking for all the world like opponents at opposite ends of a board, were 3 other figures. 2 men, looking like they might have gotten lost on their way to a Dresden Files convention, and a woman who Sheriff Guthrie recognized. Dr. Winters? Sister, said the warden. Sister, said Mr. Seraph. Dr. Winters scrunched up her face at the sight of them. Why is it that every time I'm having such a nice evening, one of you has to show up and ruin it? Before either of them could answer, a seventh person joined their little party. He stood at the head of the glowing hole, twitching and chittering a little, as the eerie lights lit his face. Sheriff Guthrie knew him. Dr. Winters knew him, but he was a mystery to the others. They had seen him around, but nobody seemed to know that he was important in some way to the events that were unfolding before them. It was the writer, dressed in the same black long-sleeve shirt and jeans that he always wore. Who am I? He asked. And the question came out as pitifully as he could manage.
Good evening, everyone. It's me, Dr. Plague. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's show. If you think you might like a little more spooky in your life, then please feel free to click on one of the videos we have up here. Maybe look at one of the playlists if you're trying to get caught up. I know, there's so many videos on the channel. There's so many series that are going at the same time. Sometimes you just need a little refresher course, and I gotta say, I always enjoy the views. If you're not subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Maybe hit the bell so you don't miss anything. We upload a lot on this channel, so you won't want to miss a single story as they come out. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click on the Amazon link down there. There's quite a few books in my Amazon account. You can have a look, and if you'd like a signed copy, get up with me through email, and I'll be happy to work something out with you. Also, there's links to my Patreon, and you can become a member on the channel if you'd like your spooky a little bit early. Patrons and members on the $5 tier get their videos 12 hours early. That's in the morning as opposed to in the evening. Patrons at the $10 level also get a signed copy of my book anytime I write one. Speaking of my patrons, you should see them appearing right now. Just wanted to take a minute to say how much I appreciate all of you. Patrons, subscribers, however you give to the channel. I really appreciate everything you do, and it truly touches me that you have chosen to support the channel in this way. Well, that's enough for now. Till next time, Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.